Hello and welcome back to Good Nightmare, a podcast where my cat Maud seems to think that my laptop is a heating pad. Today's episode is one that I only recently came across, and I'm surprised I hadn't learnt about it earlier because it's quite full on. If you've heard of this case before, be sure to get in contact and let me know. I don't know how I've managed to go without hearing about it for so long. Béla Kiss was a Hungarian serial killer. He was known for his charm and his good looks, as well as for his ability to evade capture. While not much is known about his early life, we do know that as an adult, Kiss was married twice and had 2 children. His later wife allegedly left him for another man, and you'll see why I say allegedly as we get into the case. And so, needing someone to take care of his home, he hired a housekeeper, a Mrs. Jakubek. Kiss was known for keeping to himself. He was quite aloof, he wasn't too friendly with his housekeeper, and he wasn't intimately known by his neighbours, but he was well liked. Apparently in want of company or wanting to provide his services to single women in the area, Kiss started placing ads in the local newspapers. He claimed that he would be able to provide relationship counselling. He would invite these women to visit him alone at his home. His housekeeper would later state that she had little to no interaction with the constant flow of visitors. Kiss's first encounter with police was fairly innocent. It was unrelated to his actual crimes. They had noticed that he had several metal drums on his property. Kiss told police that with the approach of World War I, he knew gasoline would become scarce, and so he'd been ensuring he had plenty stored. This would later be his undoing. Kiss was conscripted at the onset of World War I in 1914 and left his home in the care of his housekeeper. He was right about the shortage of gasoline. In 1916, Kiss's landlord advised the local authorities that Kiss had several large drums of gasoline on his property, and so soldiers were sent to collect them. Upon opening the drums, however, there was an overwhelming scent of decay. The drums were opened completely, and an investigation was initiated to search Kiss's home. The body of a woman who had been strangled was found in the first drum, with several bodies in others around the property to follow. All in all, 24 victims were discovered. There were 23 women and 1 young man. Jakubek, on being accused of knowing about the murders, declared her innocence and led the police through Kiss's home. She led them directly to a room that she'd been told by Kiss never to enter, and it was here that police found several letters, correspondence with around 74 women, and a photo album. There were books shelved around the room, mostly on the subjects of poisoning and strangulation. Kiss had been convincing women with little to no family to send him money for his services as a counsellor. When some of the women visited his household, he would murder them. He also murdered 2 women who began legal proceedings to retrieve money from him. Once the women disappeared, their cases were dismissed. Kiss had an unusual MO. He would strangle his victims. Then he would puncture their necks and drain them entirely of their blood, before pickling them in alcohol in his metal drums. Because of the puncture marks to their necks, it was believed he may have been practicing vampirism. Currently fighting in World War I, the military was advised that Kiss should be arrested immediately. However, he was one step ahead. He had apparently placed the body of a dead soldier in his cot in the hospital and forged a death certificate to say that this dead soldier was in fact himself. And it worked. There were several sightings of Kiss in the years following, including in 1920 when a soldier reported having met a man named Hoffman. Hoffman was one of Kiss's aliases. Hoffman apparently claimed to the soldier that he was good with a garrote, but Hoffman had deserted before police could reach him. In 1932, over a decade after investigations began, homicide detective Henry Oswald was sure he recognized Kiss at the New York City subway at Times Square. Oswald was known at the time for having an innate ability to recognize and remember faces, and recognized Kiss even after the passing of so many years. He gave chase, but the man was already lost to the crowds. Ultimately, Kiss was never again found. His victims totaled at least 24, though the exact number remains unknown. There is no way of knowing if he continued his crimes after settling elsewhere, if he lived the remainder of his life on the run, or if perhaps he lived beyond his military years at all. Let me know your theories, or if you feel that you found someone with a lead on the case. You can contact me on Instagram or Twitter at goodnightmare_s, or via email at goodnightmare_s@outlook.com. Maud has just settled in on my lap, so I guess I'm not going anywhere for the rest of the day. I hope you are all surviving and managing the best you can. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, sweet dreams.